Hello, everybody, and welcome to this All You Need Is a Ball episode with a bit of an Africa flavour this time. And I'm delighted to welcome two very good friends of mine. First of all, Mr. Alex Morfaw from Rainbow Football, who is the technical director and head of scouting, working a lot in Cameroon and across West Africa. And Mr. Thor, who originates from Denmark, but is working in Uganda with is the founder of Cambio Academy. So both of you, first of all, thank you so much for joining me today. Great to see you.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you for inviting us.
All good. So yeah, the flavour and the style of this is all about talent development. So the purpose of this session today is to speak to two specialists in the field, working across the continent of Africa. And we're going to delve into a bit of their journey to inspire, hopefully, you people watching from home about different ways of getting into football and how to progress through the massive industry that it is. But also, as always, for you parents and teachers watching, we want to give you some support and some advice on how to do the best things for your children. We all know how popular football is and how many people dream of playing professionally one day. So again, I'm particularly excited to hear your stories today, guys, both through the amateur and then the professional playing world, and now in development. So let's get cracking. I'm going to kick things off. Maybe Thomas, if you could start this with a bit of, what's your background? How did you get into football and end up where you are now?
Yeah, as you say, it is a journey, and it's fun how you end up different places that you wouldn't expect some decades ago. I was grown up from a family that was very passionate about football. My father played in the best league in Denmark, and he was then a sports journalist, took me to different stadiums, had a lot of friends in that kind of business, you could say, in the football industry. So from a very early age, I went to the dressing rooms of those stadiums, and I got this passion of football. I played, of course, myself a lot, and I became a decent, good player. Some would say a talent, whatever that definition is. But I loved the game. And I played a lot. And then when I grew up, I studied sports and science at the university in Denmark. Alongside, I worked with different projects. That's also how we got to know each other. In street football, lots of different ways. I just had so much passion for this game. But gradually, like I would say, year by year, I found that football is actually just the tool. It's not actually my main purpose in life. And this is not the most important thing for me. The most important thing for me, I learned from, I would actually say an early age, but it has grown on me, is of course to support children, environments, making those environments suitable for them, safe environments, and we will talk much more about it. But I also had my own company working with psychology, with football players and coaches, trying to implement some of the ideas and some of the things that I've learned and read about and inspired by others. And so I stopped my own career and then suddenly focused only on football and raising children in a good way, I would say. And then after some good years in Denmark, I also worked in FC Nordsjælland. That is, I would say, considered one of the best talent football clubs in the world. I think right now, actually, the club has the youngest squad in the world, playing in the best league, actually among the 5-6 best teams in Denmark. So they're doing a good job with talents. And I worked there for 4 years, and it just gave me even more power and fuel to dig in deep into all of this football environment. I worked there for 4 years. Then I decided to go abroad. I felt like, yes, I can make a difference for children, for athletes in Denmark, in Europe, getting paid, get my salary and so, but there was more within me. There was a passion building with me, and that I felt like this is not enough. I want to go abroad. I then went to Right to Dream Academy in Ghana, and it is considered one of the best academies in Africa, doing it in a special way. I worked there and had a great time there, and I learned so much. After half a year, I felt like I want to build my own thing. And then that is now 5 years ago, and here we are. Here I am in Uganda, building El Cambio Academy.
So why Uganda? How did you focus in on Uganda?
Yeah, after my stay in Ghana, I actually looked towards South America, especially Colombia. I had an idea that I wanted to set up the academy there. And that is also why we have El Cambio, which in English means the change. So we have we carry here to Africa the Spanish word, El Cambio, the change. We want to make a change for the children. I wanted to set it up in Colombia, but suddenly someone in Denmark said, I know about a place in Uganda. I've been there visiting the place. You should go exactly to this place because they're already about to build something great, they said. So, you know, coincidence made me suddenly end up here in Uganda.
Love it. So it's very much immersing yourself in the passion of football and seeing what pathways come from it, right?
Yeah, it's amazing.
Very good. Cool. Thanks, Thomas. Alex, your turn. So other way around, really, isn't it? Starting in Africa and moving off to explore the world and then coming back. So yeah, tell us a bit of your story.
Well, thank you, Dan. So I was born in Cameroon. My mom is Russian, and my dad is Cameroonian. They met in Russia. My dad left Cameroon to study abroad in Paris, France, and in Russia when he left Cameroon when he was 18. And when they decided to go back to Cameroon, my mom was pregnant. So, and then I was born in Cameroon. Basically, I was the only athlete in the family. My dad and his brothers and sisters, they were always about education first, of course, and only education. Or maybe the family did not have a talented guy to be a soccer player, you know, I don't know. So my dad is an electronical engineer, and my mom is a doctor, but she's not working anymore because she has some health issues. So yeah, so I was playing like every kid in Africa with the friends. Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was playing like every kid in Africa that loves sports and football, and just kicking cans or just, you know, anything you can find in the street. But we were not poor. We were a normal family, okay. And then at the age of 10, 11, my coaches from my academies thought I had the potential and abilities to do something more and to take it more serious. So my parents decided to send me abroad, decided to send me to France, landed in Paris, started playing in Bordeaux. At the age of 14, 15, I was in Bordeaux in like pre-academy, because in France you have pre-academies, then you have academies. Yeah, and then when you go to reserve in French, it's called post-formation or something like that. I don't know the word. So after Bordeaux, I stayed there for just 1 year. I was recruited by Nantes. Moved to Nantes, and my whole family moved to Nantes to be closer to me, because you know at that young age, it's not easy to be far from the family. You need a kind of support to be well balanced. So
Sure.
yeah, I did all my classes in Nantes, and then I got selected by Cameroon national team. That was one of the greatest experience in my life on the field. And we went to the African Cup of Nations U20 in where was it? In Congo Brazzaville, 2000 and
Amazing.
2007. So I played well, and at that competition, that's where I met Kingsley. I think
Yeah.
the year before. Yeah, we met the year before. Anyway, long story short, after that competition in Africa, scouted from Leicester were there with Kingsley, because Kingsley was my agent. So and in Nantes, I was doing well also, but I was not happy at the position where I was playing in Nantes, because I grew up playing in the midfield or in the wings, And the last year before you turn pro, you play with the reserve team. But it's a difficult situation when a weekend where when a pro is not performing or he's not playing with the first team, he has to come down with the reserve and he gets playing time. So in Nantes, every weekend, pros were just coming down, and I was sent to play center back, center back or left back. Those are some positions. Okay, you play, but I was not enjoying football there.
Went in love with them.
I football there. So Kingsley had an opportunity for me to go to England in with Leicester. So I had a contract, a 3 years contract with Leicester. The coach that signed me, his name was Nigel Worthington. I think he went to coach Northern Ireland after.
Yeah.
Yeah, Nigel Worthington. So, and when I signed, as soon as I signed, a week after he was sacked. And another coach came, Martin Allen. The coach did not even last for, I don't think he lasted even for more than 5 months.
Yeah.
You know
Sounds
Martin.
about right for England. Yeah. Know them both very well. Yeah.
Martin Allen. That was my worst experience in football. My time in Leicester, because it lasted maybe 3 months. When Martin Allen arrived, at the preseason, you have to take the team picture. So every player and the new players were supposed to go on one side. The new signing were supposed to go on one side to take a picture for the medias and the press and all that. Everybody is going. When I want to go to another side, because I was with Max Gradel. Maybe you heard of the player Max Gradel.
Yeah.
We were Leicester together. After that, he went to Leeds and Saint Etienne, Bournemouth.
Yeah.
So he tells me, because he was the only one able to speak French. My English was not even, it was catastrophic. So he told me that they want you to go on that side because you are just a new signing. They want to take a picture. As soon as I want to go there, Martin Allen says, "No, you cannot go there. I did not sign you. You're not my new signing. So you're not allowed to take a picture." I was not allowed to take the picture with those guys. I was not allowed to take the picture with the team, the family picture. So, and I was 19, or I was turning 20. That was very difficult for me. Humiliating. Humiliating, is that the word?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was humiliating in front of everybody. You just arrive in a new country, new culture. It was my first experience in the UK, and I was not allowed even to train with the first team. He was sending me to reserve, and the coach of the reserve was telling me, "Why are you training with us? After training, why are you training with us? You have the level to." So I would talk to the coach. The coach of the reserve his name is Biggs. I loved him. I think he was the only support in the team during my time in Leicester. And one day, every morning when you get to the training ground, you have to look on the board. There's a board in the changing room. So the coach will write the names of who is going to train with who. And all the time, my name was in with the reserve. And that morning, I was looking for my name. My name was nowhere. Then he called me in his office. He said, "Look, Alex, I don't want to be long. I will cut it short. I don't like you. I did not sign you. I have my plans, and you are not part of my plans. You have to look for another club, a new opportunity. If you want to train today, you can train, but you can even stay and train with the reserve, but you're not going to play." So,
Wow.
well, I said, he asked me, "Do you have a question?" I said, "I don't have a question, sir, because the way I grew up, the kind of education that we receive, even if you are disappointed or you want to complain, when a person is older than you cannot tell me, yeah, you want to complain, right?" So I told him, "No, everything is okay. I have no problem." I left, went to the changing room, and started packing my things. Gradle and all those guys. Andy King, Andy King?
No.
Andy King, he got promoted with Leicester from League One to
Okay.
he was the only player, number 10, Andy King. Anyway, so Gradle and Andy King were saying, "No, Alex, don't go. Where are you going? Why are you packing your stuff? Come and try." I say, I cannot. I just packed at the time I did not have an apartment. I was staying at the Marriott. The club
Yeah.
was, yeah, I was staying at the Marriott until I find my house. So when I went back to my hotel, they told me at the hotel that I cannot stay more than 2 days at the hotel. Right, it was. I'm
Wow.
telling you, like, it was so
English, that is true English hospitality at its
that's right.
best.
Lucky that I had my Max, who is like a brother and very close today. We are close, and I do some deals where we made the deal with Toulouse, and he opened many doors for us also. He said you can take. I have an apartment even if I stay at the training ground in a room because next year I think I will move in my apartment, but you can use my apartment for now. So I left. I went to the apartment. I stayed there I think 2 days. I had of course a conference call with Kingsley. We were discussing and talking about the situation. He told me to not worry about anything. After 2 days, I had a trial with Skonto. Skonto was promoted to the championship.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I went to Skonto. I did well, and the last friendly game where the coach was supposed to take a decision. Yeah, it was a friendly game against Lincoln. The last game where they were supposed to take a decision, 1 minute before the end of the first half, I receive a dangerous tackle, and I break my ankle. Because even while I was playing, I was still affected by what happened in Leicester. It was still fresh.
Of course. Yeah.
So even when you play, and we have to remember that I was a young kid. Even if 20 is not, is not old, especially when you left your family at the age of 13. So you don't have all the tools to be ready for that kind of war.
Yeah.
So and the ambulance took me from the field and went to the hospital, and I don't remember what happened at the hospital because they gave me some drugs and I was just sleeping. And when I woke up, my first question was, how am I going to do? How am I going to do? I don't have the clue if I will sign or not. So, and then the day after, the coach called me, Nigel Atkins.
Yeah.
Yeah, he coached Southampton also. Is it Atkins?
Yeah.
Yeah. So he called me in his office. I was very scared, shaky. He told me, Alex, I'm very happy about what I saw. You are very confident. I think there is something that we can work on. You can be a good added to our team. I will speak to your agent. I was happy, and because that club we always, even the truth is I had a worse experience in Leicester, but Leicester is in my heart. Leicester is in my heart because if Leicester is part of what made me today, right?
Well, I've seen you with the kids in Yaoundé and various other countries, and I can see exactly that story is what you're telling people every day now, right? And it's so powerful.
Every day, I tell my daughter the same stories. You don't have to be affected or feel down when someone is doing something you think is bad or wrong to you. You have to take it as something that will make you stronger. You have to see the good side of that experience.
Totally. You went on to play in Canada as well, though. How did the move to Canada come about?
Yeah, so when I got injured in Scunthorpe, they took care of me for like 5 months. I was not recovering well. Then I played, and I decided at the end, because the thing was we signed 1 year, and if I recover well, we extend the contract for 3 more years. So I was not able to recover, and I had to go somewhere else, to get back on track. I went to Sweden and did well. I played 1 season and scored like 8 goals. And Kingsley had the opportunity for me to go to Vancouver. Yeah, to Vancouver, but I had to go on trial. So I went on trial for like 1 week, and then we agreed on everything. I signed there. We signed on the 3 years contract, and injuries. You don't make the right decisions. You don't have the support. You think you have the support, that you want, but you don't have the support that you need, because in this business you need more than just a coach or an agent. you know you need what they are doing, what Thomas is doing in Uganda. You need to be working with people like that, because in football, what I believe, I'm not saying that is 100% true, but if you're not mentally prepared, you can have the chance or the opportunity to sign a professional contract, right? But to last longer and to have a proper career, it takes more than just talent. It takes more than, because there are players that are not even that great. We all watch games and we say, how is he playing there? He's not good players, but he's mentally is able to play maybe 50 games every year. So
Yeah.
the mental is something. I was not mentally at that time. I thought I was a hard worker. I thought I was mentally stronger than everybody. That's what you want to make yourself believe. But with more experience, I realized that a lot of things were missing. So injuries, you think it's maybe something because you come from Africa. You think it's something that someone is praying for you, some voodoo, or you think it's that. But that's not even the case. You are not well prepared mentally. Maybe you don't have the proper nutrition. Maybe you're not focused. You're not sleeping at the right time. You stay on your phone, the social medias, all these distractions at the time where you're supposed to only think and breathe football. So I was also going up and down with performances, injuries, muscles, bones. At the age of 25, I had to make a choice, because we had the opportunity, to represent to scout for the MLS and the partnership with the clubs in MLS. We did not have someone in Africa that was supposed to take care of it. So I had to take a difficult decision to, at the age of 25, just give up on all the dreams that you had. I decided to end up my career. Yeah, I decided to end up my career, and my dream was to play for big clubs like Arsenal. Arsenal was a club that I loved, and at 25, I was at the point where I realized, okay, maybe I have the talent. I can go on trial with Arsenal. They will sign me, but then one season I won't be able to play maybe 20 games. I won't be able. So why would I still stay in football, and for my friends to think I'm a football player, but I'm not even doing anything good to myself? I'm not doing anything good for you that are paying the cable to watch the game, right? Because you're not even watching me. I decided to stop and be part of something bigger than myself. So 100% with the Rainbow Sports Project, and called my family, my parents, and then we had a discussion. I said I'm going back to Africa because they live here, in fact. I said I'm going back to Africa. My mom said she was not okay with that. You left Africa a long time ago. You know how it's difficult. You be there by yourself, and you cannot do that. I say I made my mind. I did not stop playing football to listen to what you are going to say. Let me let me try. Let me make my own mistakes, and I will learn from that. But at this point, I think it's a call. It's a duty. I want to be working with kids, and like I said, I wanted to play for Arsenal, and I know what was missing for me to not have a contract with Arsenal. I know what was missing for me to not be able to play 20 or 30 games a season. I know these things, and somehow I want to help the younger generation as much as I can through Rainbow.
So let's yes, I can completely see that. I'm going to pause you there, and we'll come back to you and look at more depth on the Rainbow system and everything shortly. But Thomas, just going back to you on some of the bits there that Alex said, I know really resonate with you and your philosophy of Cambio. So let's look at the prominence of character building and actually in that recruitment process that you have, and how you look out for talent. Just how important is the character building element, and how do you start to even look for talent? Where does it all begin?
Where should we begin? But I would like to start out with Alex. He touched upon he wasn't mentally ready for what was waiting for him in this professional world of football. And I would actually say that where does my fuel come from? Where does my passion come from? It comes from my own experiences. So I think it's the same as Alex, that I used to play football and I felt like, yes, I'm really good with my feet, but I had really hard time to cope with the fact that I was not supposed to make any mistakes, that I thought of myself as a perfect player. And of course we are not, and we do a lot of mistakes throughout a practice, but I saw it as something really bad. And I started thinking about, what do everybody else thinks? Because they should all think of me as the perfect football player. That's how I wanted it to be like. So from an early age, I loved the game of football, but from year to year, I would say that I lost the passion. I was afraid. I was afraid of making mistakes, of what people were thinking of me. So in the end, you can say that, yes, I played, but I played on 50% because I was not in a position where I could challenge myself. I wanted to play it easy. I wanted to do all the things so I look good. And that's not my character. That is not how I actually is built like a player. I was at the time, now I'm grown old, but I was very technical and intelligent in the game and also creative. But because I wanted to defend my own image, my own character or whatever, identity as a footballer, I tried to do the easy thing and actually started trying to just fight my way through. So I remember now that the last couple of years of my football career, I was suddenly becoming Thomas the Fighter. What is that? Because that is not what I was supposed to do. This is not the real Thomas, but I was trying to fight my way through. And so I found new tools. So that is for me when Alex said it. And now I'm saying my way through the football system, I lacked the mental capacity to cope with a lot of problems. And yes, you can argue that it is me having a problem as a young player. And at the same time, you can argue that the environments are really not made for people like, let's say, me and maybe even Alex and a lot of other children. So I would say let's focus on the environment, make it more suitable and creative, develop people who are able to rethink and be self-driven leaders. And there are so many ways to do that. But what I was to experience was that this is just replicating the story, the history and the ways of how to coach. It was like for my coaches, they replicated what they were taught 30 years ago. And though this way, it just kept on going. And I felt like this cannot be right. So we need, first of all, we need to do something about the elite environment. Secondly, of course, we also need to educate the individual player in character. What we believe in here is, yes, football and education is very important at El Cambio. But the character, if we can grow those athletes with a great character, and we have, of course, different definitions of what a good character should be able to do, we then believe that education, they will grow. They will grow in football because they feel more safe. They are more curious. As Alex touched upon, he said, here in Africa, when you're a child, you're not supposed really to challenge anyone older than you. You're supposed to actually keep your mouth shut in most cases. Now we want to switch it all around and say, no. A child is worth just as much as I am as an adult. We have different responsibilities in life, but what we teach them here day in and out is this character program to build them with the understanding that they're worth something, building them with self-worth and also self-confidence. For me, it's very important to divide those two things. Self-confidence for us is I have confidence in myself in a specific task. That could be football, that could be dancing, that could be freestyle, that could be anything. But depending on the task that you are doing, you can have self-confidence. And as we all know, it can go up and down, depending on your mistakes or what people think of you, what you are capable of thinking of yourself. That is self-confidence. What is even more important for us here is self-worth, like a worth to yourself. Am I actually worth something without playing football, without being good in anything? Do I think of myself as someone who can actually contribute to this world, to my family, my friends? Can I think of myself as worth in life? Because most characters, most players, you and I, all of us, I'm sure, we had this identity of being a good player. But if I'm suddenly not a good player anymore, who am I then? Am I something? Because most people are actually criticizing mine now. Now that is character to me, that we stand up for ourselves and at the same time we reach out to others.
Very strong words. I don't think there's any arguments there. Alex, any thoughts on that?
You know, hearing what he's saying is, I 100% go in the same direction, 100%, because those points are they seem to be like just some little details, but it's something very important that you need to take to handle when you develop a player. So I agree with Thomas, and it's like carrying him is like he starts talking about me, because I was the same, you know. When I was playing some competitions in Africa with the national team, they were saying I'm Ronaldinho is going to be the biggest thing in Cameroon ever. So they were seeing a lot of potential, but I don't think I was even meant to be a professional soccer player. So the football field was part of my education growing up. It's like me going to school to learn things, to go and help the younger generation. I agree
Definitely.
100% with him, and it's good. I appreciate again one more time the fact that you invited me here, because I know I'll be in touch with Thomas, and we are very passionate about Africa, and we are going to do things together.
Let's just look at.
Just add on quickly that I think the football environment, the elite environment, they either deny or they don't touch really upon the fact that we have a lot of, I would say, vulnerable, or I would actually say athletes that are not ready for what is expected of them. So either they just deny the fact that they have a lot of athletes in their club having issues, or they don't know how to deal with it. And that is what we want to do here. We want to deal with it. And we actually notice that, and it's not just Alex and I would say most, and you know about the depression rate of football players. We need to do something, and we need to do it now.
Definitely. And so that's part of your curriculum then, that you're obviously teaching all of the children in your academy. Is that something you've put together yourself? Is it exclusive to you? Are there best practice that you can offer here to try and share with other parents or coaches around the world?
I would love to share all of what we believe in here. We have a character ladder. We call it a ladder because we bring in our athletes already when they're 9, and then they leave us either when they're 15, 16 or 18. It depends on which path they go. If they go educational to America, or they become professionals in Europe. But no matter, they climb this ladder, and when they come into the first step of the ladder in our character program, they are exposed to a playful environment where they get to present different things. They get to dance and move their body while expressing themselves. They get to know and understand a bit about our values. And then, of course, we implement those classes, not just in a classroom, but also on the pitch, in their leisure time, where they are around others. We are, as coaches and staff members, key members in this, and this goes to the parents as well. We are role models, because you can read a book, you can read and study a lot of things, but if the adults around you are not acting upon all the things, all the theory, it doesn't work. They have to look at you and say, okay, I really can tell that Thomas and the whole staff here, that they are grown into this environment. They actually put action to their words, because then they can reflect and think, it makes sense. When he's in trouble, when he's challenged, he react like this. There's no beating going on here. If someone does something that we don't like, of course we address it. We talk to them, but we also believe in sharing love and embrace the child for more than just the player or the mistake that he just did. So we do it in theory, we do it in classes, and then we climb this ladder, and it's going to be more complex for each, you can see, age group. it's what they are going through is going to be more complex each year. So we played a little bit in the beginning, and then when they turn 15, 16, they are going to study books that we have. So I have been inspired. I have talked to a lot of people to come up with this whole curriculum.
Amazing. I promise you, I'm saying it now officially live, I promise you that I'm coming down to see you soon, because it's something that, we've been reading lots of. So Alex, back to you again, because I want to really, if you could tell a bit more of the rainbow journey, the rainbow sports, as you said, and you've mentioned the name Kingsley, Mr. Kingsley Kungong, a few times, who was your agent. He's the founder of Rainbow Sports. How did it work in practice for you? Again, I've had the luxury of being there with you and tracking some of your journey. So I see the passion that you deliver this with, and I know the vision for the organization in terms of, I guess, maybe, looking at what Thomas is doing and actually building these schools and these systems for young talent. But how does it work at the moment? What's the flow of players, and how does it work for you?
Well, I like to Rainbow started. I have to say that first. Rainbow started with Cameroon, and Rainbow Sports was only working with 95% Cameroonian players when it started, and with the club and an academy in Cameroon. But after a few years, when the company grew, um, we started going to many different territories. I started traveling to all the territories, opening new markets, and now we are working with almost Rainbow Sports is not a Cameroonian company, it's an African company, because we are, I'm not going to say international, but we everywhere in Africa. Right now we have, like, I think we managing almost 50 players in clubs, and we taking care of maybe 20 kids that are still in Africa, and we have the club in Cameroon and like 25 players. So it's a big family. It's a big family. You've been once with us when we organized the combine. We are the only agency. I'm not going to say that no agencies in Cameroon, but I will talk about the way we work. We are the only one organizing combines like that, because it's like it's work but party at the same time. Party in the sense where when you come to the field and you just a fan, you want to watch football, you can have a drink, you can have food, there is music at the halftime, because we believe also in the impact of hope, touching many people, making them believe that, well, anything is possible. You just have to work hard and listen to the advices and the coaches. So basically that's what Rainbow Sports is doing, and having a club also in Europe. When Thomas was talking about the club in Denmark, I was about to say the club, and he said also he went to Ghana. Can you hear me? Hello?
You froze a bit then. Yeah, carry on. Yes, you're back now.
Yeah. So I was saying we own also a club in. Hello.
Yeah, it is breaking a bit, right?
Can you hear me
breaking now? We can. Yeah, try again now.
Yeah. Again, I was saying we own a club in Czech Republic, and I've been traveling a lot to Denmark, because we have a player that went to Denmark. Because our model is take a player, an unknown player, and give him the platform to expose his talent and go to the next level. Christian Basoga, we took him from the bush in Cameroon, went to Wilmington in North America, and then we used a great platform, thank you again, to Aalborg, that developed well the player. And Christian is now one of the best player in Cameroon. He was the best player in African Cup of Nations. So I knew about this club that is playing. I think is a club that is playing the youngest players in Europe. The club owned by Right to Dream. So before Thomas mentioned, I was about to say, do you know? But I just did not want to interrupt. And then he mentioned the club, and he said when he said he went to Right to Dream, I said, okay, we're talking about the same club. So basically, that's what Rainbow Sports is doing. We have academies, clubs in Tanzania. I've been going to East Africa a lot. Tanzania, Kenya. Tanzania, we have in Guinea-Bissau. I've been to 40 countries already in Africa, and I will not stop. I will not stop.
Love it. So clearly we could keep talking all day long about many things, but I'm going to try and move towards a kind of conclusion here for the sake of the webinar, and then of course we can carry on talking. Yeah, first and foremost, it seems very evident, and I love the energy that you guys have anyway, and that's why I guess we get on, because we passionately believe in what we do. But I think the first positive, real sort of emphasis here is that the world of football is not as murky and corrupted as everyone thinks it is. You know, there's people like you working in the way that you do to develop people before they become players, and really look after them through their journey based on your experiences and your networks. And I think I've personally fallen in love with the continent of Africa, largely thanks to good friends of ours in common as well. Shout out to Mr. Francis McWayne as well. So, you know, there's so many amazing things going on in Africa. There's clearly a lot of talent, but they need the platforms that you guys are preparing. If you're to summarize this though, for those parents and teachers watching this, are there what takeaways could we give to them to work on? What could they do from their own backyards, from their own homes, where they've got aspiring footballers as children growing up? How do parents and teachers help on that journey? Because you guys can't be everywhere. So how can you spread that love a bit? Is there any final sentence or tips that you could give?
I think that the balance is something that we all look for, because we want it to be a playful environment where the child, the athlete, the player still is in love with the game. You don't want to take away that love. You want to keep it within the child. So then you can start talking about, as a family, as a father or mother, how do we make this a playful area for my child? Because whenever he has stopped playing the game, the training, how am I approaching? What am I actually talking about? Am I just continuing the seriousness of the coach? Or am I someone who can contribute with something else that he's among most of his time in the elite environments? So on one hand, I would say, make it in a playful environment, make sure that the child is still having a lot of fun, and you can do it so many ways. And secondly, on the other hand, of course, if you really want to make it in football, you cannot just play around having fun doing nutmegs all the time. You also have to have some kind of structure. You have to have knowledge about the game, about mentalities, about children, but also to push them. Because what I see a clear difference, of course, from Europe and here where I'm from in Scandinavia, Denmark, and here most children are ready to fight. Whereas in Denmark, we are trying to convince all our children that there's something special, that they can have all their dreams come true. So they are all start believing that, yeah, I'm really something special. My mother have always told me, whenever I come and say, look at me, she claps her hand and gives me a big hug because I'm so good. Now, if we do that all the time, we make the whole generation think that there's something special. And I think when you feel something special, you kind of relax a bit and you take things for granted. You expect from everyone else than yourself. And maybe you will end up even trying to protect you being special by not making any mistakes. So I think it's important as parents, coaches, teachers, leaders in general, to be straightforward, to tell the children that they have to work hard, that they have limits, that they have to work on. They're not ready for whatever they think they are. There are lots to be done. Here in Africa, it's slightly different, because here they are ready to work and they want to work all the time. And here we have to have them to reflect a bit more, because in Europe, in Denmark, where I'm from, people are reflective and they want answers. They want purpose, meaning. Whereas here, for them, if they can just go there and play and being told what to do, they are happy. That's not my approach. I want to find that balance where you can have the playful, purpose, meaningful, but also where you reflect and have high standards. So I'm not saying it's easy, but it's worth trying.
Amazing. Not going to argue there. Alex, any final thoughts?
Amazing, Thomas. Amazing. I will add some, some spice on what Thomas already said. Some spice in the sense where I agree totally what he said, and I have something. The problem, the advices that we can give to parents in Africa will not be the same advices that we give to parents abroad in Europe or some countries, because we cannot neglect some facts that sometimes the decisions of the parents in Africa are made based on what's good for them sometimes, right? But when you are developing a player, you have to think what is good for the kid and what is good for the player. Everybody now sees football. Football is business. It's a big business. We are not going to lie. It's a big business today. But to develop a good player, you have to put the business part aside, and you have to care of the player. In Africa, I go and I scout a lot to those countries, and so I've been facing some struggle and difficulties with to expose a project and a plan to some families, because I will see a kid that is maybe 14 years old and maybe not going to school. They are poor, and we offer an opportunity. We said we have a meeting with the parents, and we say we can have a scholarship for this kid in the United States, and that would be good for him because he will have the education which is very important, which is key at that age. You need the education. You need to be educated. You need to develop your abilities to learn, not just learn what you are hearing at school, but in life. So we will present the project, the plan to the parents, and some parents will not react well because a lot of wrong people around football already scouted the kid, and they went to see the parents offering money. And then some parents, they think if you take the kid now, he goes to the US, what am I going to gain on that? How much are you going to pay me? And if you don't offer something interesting more than the offer that they receive, they will say no. But it will be a problem because they will keep the kid until he turns 18, because you cannot sign a professional contract until you turn 18, right? Before you turn 18, you cannot sign a professional contract. So the parents will play with the opportunity and risk it all, right? They will say, I don't know if you agree with me or not, but I've been facing that kind of problems where some parents, they don't even have what to eat, but they will, the kid has to stay here with me because I'm going to make money out of it. So they stay in the wrong environment where it's not a professional environment, and they are missing that. There is the lack of, the how can I say, they are missing the right technique or strategies, or the right people to develop the kids. So that's when you want to advise parents, the parents, they have to think about what's good for the kids. They cannot. It's difficult because there is money pressure, right? If you are poor, you've been living in poverty all your life, and someone is coming and is saying, tomorrow I will give you 100,000 euros just to take your kid. And today it's like merchandise. It's like, some parents, they are just selling the kids. If I come to you, I present you a good plan. It's not because I'm new to your family, you don't know me, that you cannot listen to me, and you will listen to just the random coach that is being saying the kid is his son, and blah, other kind of malaki. So there is a lot of things to be done in Africa, with the governments, also the people around sports, before even what we are going to say will have before it has like the impact that it should have, because we will give advices, but it's easy to hear, but to to consider, it's another story. If you want to cure the real problems, we have to look where the big problems are. You know, if it's like in Ghana, right? Because now everybody knows in the football market that when you go to Ghana, you will have the Appias. They went for millions. You know, if a player is coming from Ghana to a big club, it would be worth millions. But if a player better than the Ghanaian is Tanzanian, you know, you will be like, he's Tanzanian, he's this and he's that. You know, it's another story. So we have, of course, we will not stop giving advices to parents, but we also have to touch the FAs, the federations, you know, the government to support the kids, to build infrastructure so the parents in the future don't feel like they have to sell the kids to someone just to make a living, because you cannot sell a kid. Okay, if a player is 18 years old, he goes on transfers, he earns money, yeah. But when you are 14 years old and I'm talking to you about having a plan for your son and you asking me how much are you going to pay because I have these guys offering money, that's not okay. That's not. So you're making your choice based on what is good for you. So the parent,
Yeah,
what I can say, the parents, they have to think about what is good for the child.
huge responsibility and correct. Definitely. I love it. Thank you very much, both of you. I think we're going to carry on talking after this, but I'm going to wrap this session up for now. And yeah, thank you everyone for watching. If you've got any questions about any of this, please write them in the bars below and we'll get back to you as soon as possible. But in the meantime, stay safe and remember, all you need is a ball.